Ah, yes, Hayden, how sweet it is. I'll tell you one thing. In 38 years of broadcasting Iowa football, that's a long time. I don't think I've seen a more complete team victory or a better coaching job than that sweet, sweet victory over Michigan State at East Lansing. That was just incredible.
Jim, if the general public knew all of the particulars in regards to the youngsters that didn't make the trip or didn't work out, to have a guy who 2 weeks ago was the #4 quarterback start on national television and just do an exceptional job. It just goes on and on and on. I agree with you wholeheartedly. This was the greatest team victory I've been associated with at the University of Iowa. Had some back at SMU and North Texas State, but the togetherness, the esprit de corps, people, as I say, circling the wagons a little bit tighter and taking up the slack because of our #1 quarterback being out, our #1 fullback, our #1 snapper. It's just incredible.
This is something, though, that dates back throughout this Michigan State-Iowa series. It's just been an unbelievable series of close games. And the two things, your decision on to start Paulski and the job your defense did on Lorenzo White. Talk about those two things for a minute.
Well, #1, the quarterback had thrown 2 passes, both of them on 2-point conversion plays. One of them was a fumble snap, but we practice on that in case we get a bad snap. And as I told CBS prior to the game, I wasn't for sure which player was going to play at quarterback because we had to check Velocic out in pregame warm-up, but that if Polhusky did play, he's 2 for 2. He's throwing for 1,000%. Right. Chuck Hartlib hadn't thrown because he'd been injured, and Dan McGuire had thrown 5 passes. 2 of those were beautiful bombs for touchdowns, but we made a decision on Tommy because Tommy knows the system better than McGuire. Hartlib still hurt, but he could have played. But Tommy displayed such great poise during the week of preparation. McGuire did a fine job too, but McGuire once again could not run everything in our total offensive scheme.
All right, and then of course we're going to see what the Iowa team did. That's something you have to see visually, is the job Iowa team did on Lorenzo White, holding him to 41 yards and 19 carries. Just unbelievable. The scene at Michigan State, they've had 26 days of rain up there, and it continued to rain on the Spartans. That's White goes on a counter off right tackle. Richard Pryor stopped him for a gain of 1. Just great team defense, wasn't it?
Well, it was really exceptional, and you can see what a great passer Urema is. And Ingram, #11, catching a TD pass. #1, Ryson was great. But you know, the Hawks just weren't to be denied. This is Rick Bayless running a draw play behind the blocking of Dave Croston and Chris Gamble. And Chris only lives about 15 miles from East Lansing. Tom Polhusky throwing a strike right over the middle. And
Mike Flagg.
Big Mike Flagg, Marv Cook, Craig Clark, all those youngsters at tight end played an exceptional game. This is Tommy scrambling to the right, finding Rick Bayless for a critical first down play.
Offensive line did a heck of a job again, didn't it?
They did, and we got a few people hurt. Big Herb Wester did a fine job. Sindlinger is our leader up front, calls all the blocking scheme. Bob Cratch had an outstanding game. All those people did a great job, and of course Richard Bass, #2 fullback, did an exceptional job.
All right, and Bayless off left tackle, he fumbled, recovered by Bergen, and now Michigan State.
Well, you can see that Urema's got a great touch on the ball, but on this particular one, Keaton Smiley stepped in front of it. This is one of 3 big interceptions for us. Excellent run back by Smiley, and denies Michigan State an opportunity to score.
Yeah, he looked like an offensive back. And now let's look at Paholski catching #40, Missouri.
Another one of our walk-on wide receivers had an outstanding game, particularly blocking.
Now again, Tommy Paholski cranking up.
This is to Rick Bayless again. Well, look at Rick get the extra 3 or 4 yards after his hit. And you know, Jim, I can't say enough about Michigan State. They have a super football team.
And now watch the rolling ball of butcher knives, as you call it.
Richard Bass, a redshirt freshman. 4 people miss him. I think we've got a replay on this. You think he's happy? I'm going to tell you, Jim, that's one of the most gratifying things in coaching, to watch the happiness of these young men when they do something exceptionally well, which he does right here. Look at the effort.
Great. He is a happy guy. Paholski was 7 for 7, I think, at this time of the game, Hayden.
We tried to start off with a ball control type of passing attack to help build his confidence. Watch this great hit. This is a kickoff by freshman George Murphy.
Oof.
Systrunk and someone else comes in. Systrunk comes in on the side, and I believe that's Smiley that makes the recovery.
Smiley gets the recovery. So the Hawkeyes get it right back again. Score 9 seconds later.
This is on the 6-yard line. We faked to all 3 people in the backfield to try to confuse Michigan State, and it worked. Mike Flagg has worked free in the end zone, and Tommy throws the ball right on target.
Just tremendous.
This is a replay of it right here. A very well executed football play for a touchdown.
Your kickoffs gave them fits all day, didn't they?
Well, it was wet, bad weather, plus Murphy didn't work out all week. He had a very sore leg, so we kicked off on the ground across the field, hoping we'd get some bad hops. And they did have a difficult time. I didn't want to take anything away from Joe Mott and Richard Pryor, exceptional defensive games at end. And Bruce Gear had an outstanding game.
Okay, here's Cardell of Michigan State trying a 34-yard field goal, and it's way off target. Wide left. So, Michigan State now again with the ball as we pick up the action. Look at that defense.
I think Lorenzo White had 41 yards rushing. Heisman Trophy candidate.
Averaged only about 2 yards a carry.
60 yards total rushing, Jim.
Great job.
But you can see the great ability of those people. We couldn't tell if he was in or out. He was close enough to drag 1 foot, and I assume that's what he did because the official was right there.
Yeah, and some of the officiating left a little bit to be desired from the Iowa standpoint. We'll see some of that stuff later. Here's Jimmy Morrow. Another great game for Morrow.
Jimmy had a fantastic game, and he was a big help on the sideline telling us about the various coverages and what would be open. I tell you, Dan Worth had by far his best ball game at linebacker for us, and George Davis had another great game. Who made that hit?
Yeah,
what a hit.
That was just a tremendous hit.
It could have either been Kerry Bird or Kyle Crow knocking the ball loose and stops another drive.
Tackle by Sims.
I couldn't believe this. Tommy threw that ball right by that Michigan State defender. I believe, is that Marvin Cook?
Right, that's Marv Cook.
Marv Cook.
Number 84. And that tackle was made, we were wondering, by Sims, coughed it up, recovered by Haight a couple of plays ago.
Tremendous defense. John Breeze, Dave Haight, Jeff Dross. Jeff Dross had a fantastic ball game as we anticipated. Big number 76 was just all over the field.
And Richard Pryor, well, they all had a great game, didn't they?
Well, they really did. You can hold a ball club. Look at the defense again. The bend back play, the counter draw play that they ran so effectively last year. Our coaching staff did a fabulous job. They were just determined to stop it.
14-14 at halftime. And, you know, we always ask you what you tell them at halftime. Now, this time, you did have to tell them something, and it worked because you just owned that third quarter when you came out.
You know, Jim, traditionally, our coaching staff does a great job at halftime. You can go back and check the third quarters through the years and done an excellent job. And but at this particular halftime, it was real important for me to be able to tell the offensive team that Tom Polhusky at quarterback was going to become better and better with each snap because he hadn't had any snaps. Mm-hmm. And I think they really believed that. They had faith that Tommy could do the job, and Tommy was gaining confidence. And as you know, on the second play at the beginning of the third quarter, we score another long touchdown, and that iced the game.
And we're going to see that on the Hayden Fry Show next. You stay tuned. We always talk about adjustments. What kind of adjustments did you make for Michigan State at the halftime?
Jim, we always do the same thing. Our defensive staff will take the plays that have been hurting us the first half, and whatever we can do to make adjustments, that's what we do to try to shut that down. And then the things that have been real good for us, we really try to feature or emphasize those things the second half. We do the same thing on offense. We discuss the good and the bad. We try to correct the bad, or at least say we're not going to run these the second half, and emphasize the things that have been good to us.
Kicking game was just tremendously important. We saw something about the kickoffs, and your guys were injured all week long.
Well, neither Rob Houghton or George Murphy worked out at all. Sore legs, and we left our #1 deep snapper at home, Jim Riley, who's a tremendous linebacker and our leader on the specialty teams. He does the deep snapping on spread punt. That eliminated spread punt. We went to tight punt, and we were extremely worried about all phases of it, but as you know, the kicking game was instrumental in us winning.
It certainly was, and we're going to see some of those kicks, and we're going to take a look at the second half highlights coming up at East Lansing, Michigan. The score tied 14-14. It didn't really rain so much during the game, but it had rained all week. It started to rain late in the fourth quarter, and here we see the Hawkeyes on offense, And right away, we're going to see Iowa rev up here, pass to Bayless.
Tommy is right on the target, and watch this. This is a pickup pass. He's going to his number 3 receiver on that for another critical first down to keep the drive going. And watch this, Jim.
Great.
Look at the blocking up front of Bayless on the draw play.
Isn't that with still frame right here? You can see it. Look at that line fire. Just fantastic.
They have an extremely tough defense, a very confusing defense. This is one of the finest plays I've ever seen. Look at Tommy stand in the pocket and throw the ball. That's Jimmy Morrow streaking inside on a post route. He's beating the 2 deep defenders, and we've got a touchdown.
And we got a replay on this, too. The ball was right on the 50-yard line. That was scrimmage.
You see, from the right, Tommy's getting pressure. He stays right in there. You know, for a redshirt freshman, that's really incredible, national television, and throws such a beautiful ball. And Jimmy Morrow takes it in.
Hawkeyes take a 7-point lead, 21-14, but the game is far from over. Look at that pressure on Urema.
Well, that's Haight and Drost and Breeze, all 3 of our down linemen on our 5-man front defense.
And then Mott played a great game, too, out there, didn't he?
He did a super job, and I forgot to mention number 5, Mike Burke, who's really coming on at defensive end. Had an excellent game.
Okay, now Paholski passing tomorrow on the left side. Paholski.
But a broken pattern here. Our receiver went the wrong way. At least Tommy anticipated him going the other way, and they made a interception that kept us from getting at least a field goal.
Okay, that's intercepted by Bobbitt, and now here's Urema. So look at this job.
He overthrows this one, and Kenny Sims really plays the ball well.
Boy, he loves it, doesn't he?
Well, he's the old man of the secondary. He's a 5-year man, and all the other guys are brand new, and it was really refreshing to see Kenny come up with a big play.
Okay, just a great job. And now the Hawkeyes.
This is a screen pass to our little redshirt freshman, Richard Bass, fullback from Omaha, Nebraska, who just played an exceptional game in the place of David Hudson, our number 1 fullback.
Okay, Montgomery is kicking, Greg Montgomery. Now watch Peter Marciano, your fine young run-back artist.
This is another redshirt freshman from Brockton, Massachusetts. Just a super play by Peter Marciano, utilizing his blockers, accelerating when he saw a little daylight, and got us excellent field position. We couldn't move the ball, and look at the great play by Michigan State. Actually, Jim, the film show, you can't sit up close. The Michigan State defender runs up the back of one of the other Michigan State players, which is illegal, in order to block that ball.
Was not called. Here the Hawkeyes again, back in action. Bayless gained a 7.
Excellent power run, good blocking by Cratch and Webster on the right side, flag. We got Kevin Harmon into the ball game, and he did a good job of running with the ball.
Okay, pass to Smith. Now we...
They double-covered Robert Smith the whole ball game. Beautiful strike. I believe that was to Cook.
Marv Cook, right. Gained a 23 yards. Here's the big kick.
42-yard field goal. I believe it had gone through from 60, Jim. Rob
beautiful.
Outland just blasted the thing through, and actually that was the deciding points of the ball game.
Rob Outland coming through once again. Okay, but Michigan State is far from rolling over and playing dead.
Well, George Davis and Dan Worth again, great inside pressure, and look at that execution. Just right on the boundary, the only place he could have thrown it for a touchdown, and he put it right on the mark.
Now here's where you have some trouble with the crowd noise and with the officials.
This is terrible, Jim. You can see Tommy motioning to the referee, The crowd is just unbelievably loud, and we get a 5-yard penalty rather than the ref stopping. You know, I'm just infuriated again because we've gone over this and gone over this, and for official not to have more guts than that, it just kills me.
Did they deliberately do it or miss the call or what?
Well, Jim, they called 5 yards on us, and the crowd noise was so bad, they should have stopped it right there. Now, we can't throw the ball close to our goal line. They know we've got to run, so now we've got to get it out the best we can and obviously give Michigan State great field position.
Okay, now we come down to the dramatic last moments of this ball game. Ingram, and now here is the play of the game. And,
well,
Kenny Sims.
I'll have to tell you, Bill Brazier, our defensive coordinator, guessed what was right. Well, you see, I've got to shove my coaches off of me. They're trying to congratulate me. We've got 1 minute and 25 seconds on the clock. We've still got a football game to play.
Look at this. We'll have a replay.
Yeah.
Kenny Sims. Isn't that beautiful?
Well, we were in a pass defense. Bill Brazier called the defense, and Kenny Sims made the interception.
You're doing what everybody wanted to do to Kenny Sims. I love to hug that guy, I'll tell you. Oh, what a sweet victory. 24-21. That pass was intended for him, and there's a picture of dejection, the losing quarterback, and you got to hand it to Urema. It played a good ball game for him, didn't
Well, the entire Michigan State team played a great game. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't win the rest of their games.
Well, they got Michigan coming up. You have Wisconsin coming up, homecoming. You're 4-0. I know you're exhausted after the week you put in, but you got to feel good.
Well, I'm just so elated and happy about the game plan. Our offensive defensive coaches just did a miraculous job, and then our players executed it. And we need to get a lot of people healthy, Jim. We've got a lot of people hurt yesterday. We had a lot of people going into the ball game, but we've got the esprit de corps now to be awful tough.
You sure do. Great, great team victory. I think that's the essential thing. Well, talking about a team, what makes a team go? A lot of people. We're in the office once again. We're on location for the Hayden Fry Show, and we'll see some of the people that make the football program go behind the scenes right after this word.
I call the plays at the University of Iowa for the football team. But when it comes time to make long-distance calls, I call on Mid-American. Mid-American is a quality team. They are also winners. I can call any place in the United States at low rates and with quality service. That's very important to me. I'm proud to be a member of the Mid-American team, and I think you will be too. Call the account representative of Mid-American Company today and see how you can save money.
Hayden, last week we talked a little bit and showed the office. We're back in the outer office once again in a different location where all of the letters and all of the recruiting organization is done, I guess. The computers are located. And let's take a look at some of your secretaries, the gals who do the behind-the-scenes work. I wonder how many letters they write a year. You got any idea?
Well, it's unbelievable, Jim. Our three major secretarial staff members do everything. I mean, they're jack of all trades. This is Amy Thomas. She works directly with the recruiting coordinator, Dale Miller, in regards to all of the recruiting correspondence. This is Debbie Abbott. Debbie works primarily with the coaching staff on the workout schedules, things of that nature. That's Coach Carl Jackson with Debbie, going over the backfield practice schedule. And the number one secretary, our manager of the secretaries, is Rita Foley. Rita does all my personal correspondence, handles all the calls, and those three young ladies just do a fantastic job.
As we said last week, you even say when you go to bowl games, they take their typewriters right along there.
That's right. We're right in the heart of recruiting season, and so they work right through the holidays.
Okay, well, we thought you'd like to see that. Many of you have written and called to say you like the on-location scenes, and as we go along with the Hayden Fry Show this fall, we're going to see a lot more of this beautiful physical plant they have here in Iowa City. We'll be talking about homecoming, Wisconsin. It's always tough when you play the Badgers right after this. Oh, Hayden's still happy, still reveling in that victory, but you got to come down to earth come this week and get ready for Wisconsin, which even when they're having a tough time, they're 1-4, I think, right now. They lost to Michigan. A lot of injuries, but it is homecoming. And what kind of a game is this going to be?
Jim, I'll be honest with you, I don't really know. I haven't had an opportunity to even look at Wisconsin. I know that Michigan defeated Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's had some difficult ball games, but traditionally they have as fine-looking personnel as we've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And they always play a real tough game against the University of Iowa, so I would anticipate another tough, exciting game. All Big Ten games are.
I'm going to ask you a hard question. Who's going to start a quarterback?
Well, that's very difficult because I really don't know at this time. I think Tommy came out in pretty good shape, but he's hurt. Velocic should be well, but that remains to be seen. But we still got Dan McGuire, and we got the medical release on Chuck Hartley, so we've got four bodies to rotate around. It seems like any one of the fellows we put in there is going to do the job.
That's got to be a blessing in disguise, doesn't it, to have somebody come on like Paholski now?
Well, I think it's because of the system. I think it's because of the program. Bill Snyder, the quarterback coach, and Carl Jackson, who works with the running game, just do a magnificent job bringing those kids along and teaching them the fundamentals of handling the ball, throwing the passes, reading the defensive schemes. And Bill Snyder, to me, is the finest offensive coordinator in the world.
Okay, a couple of quick things we want to get in here. David Hudson, will he play Saturday, as far as you know?
That's a big question mark, too. He made improvement over the weekend, Jim, but he has a type of injury. It's going to be touch and go. He doesn't have full range of motion with his leg at this time.
And we don't have a lot of time to talk about it, but Bala had a great game, didn't he, Saturday?
70-yard quick kick is the most beautiful kick I've ever seen in my life, and it couldn't happen at a better time.
Okay, Coach, congratulations. It's a great victory. Let's go get them this week, right? Homecoming. See you next week on the Hayden Fry Show.